Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to Seed. Last time I Seed, we went down one path and dealt with the hermit who was the witch and died in gruesome ways. And this time we're gonna go for the other two. I know the other video is like pretty short, but we're gonna try to knock it out. Knock out the other two options, I mean. I'll read this for anyone coming back in. It says, in a secluded town in a far-off land, the Underwood farm stood as a vital source of sustenance. Generations of Underwoods had cultivated the land, nurturing it into a bountiful provider. However, following a night of a ferocious storm, they abruptly commissioned the construction of a massive, enigmatic shed. The structure rose around their plantation, shrouding it in complete secrecy. Contrary to the townfolk's expectations, the farm's new unseen methods yielded an astonishing increase in crop production. Fruits and vegetables grew at an unprecedented rate, their vitality seemingly enhanced by the total absence of light. The farm flourished, and its produce found its way onto every table in town, including your own. Curiosity piqued. You sliced it open. The flesh was fresh, but the internal structure was disturbingly abnormal, an unnatural design that sent a shiver down your spine. A sense of dread of something profoundly wrong settled over you, and so your quest to unravel this mystery began. All right, cool. I'm not going to read this part over. I just wanted to get that intro out of the way so I could sort of remind myself too. Okay, so where are we going now? Because we would go to the hermit before, and the hermit just turned out to be the witch, who I like, by the way. We're going to go to our local doctor world now. Dr. Luca greets you in his office, a cluttered room filled with the pungent aroma of herbs. He closes the lid of a jar filled with leeches, checking to ensure they are well fed, but his attention is already focused on you and your explanation. He takes the tomato from you, turning it slowly in his hands, and brings it to his eyes. He peers at it for a moment, then lowers it, a flicker of recognition in his gaze. This, he said, his voice low and intrigued, is quite unique. He continues to examine it while asking, "What do you make of it?" "This is the work of evil. They are using chemicals. The Underwood soil is poison." I'm going to go ahead and hit the rightmost answer right now, because we're going to go through all these. This is the work of evil. There's a rational explanation for all of this. The doctor seems to put his faith on science only. With his assistant being out, he turns to you. "Can you help me get a box from the basement? I need tools to examine it more closely." I'm going to say decline, say you were injured. You held out your arm, displaying the angry purple bruise blooming across your bicep. "Pulled something earlier this week," you explained. "A heavy log. I have to rest this arm." The doctor nodded understandingly and descended into the basement without complaint, leaving you to wait in the cluttered room. Your gaze drifted over the strange assortment of objects that adorn the walls and shelves. Anatomical charts of the human body hung alongside gleaming metal tools, books in various languages, their titles indecipherable, crowded the shelves next to bottles filled with the strange chemicals labeled with complex, unfamiliar names. A jar of leeches, presumably for specialized treatment, sat on a nearby table. 3 particularly old books, their covers intricately carved, caught your eye. In Kyridian. You could make out the titles Corpora Stella, Donum de Caelo, and Manifestatio et Evocatio. Their meanings, however, remained a mystery. The yellowed pages of the ancient tomes beckoned. A sudden curiosity seized you, a temptation to pluck one from the shelf and delve into its secrets. As soon as your fingers closed around one of the books, and you flipped open a page, a heavy blow struck your head. Darkness descended. Oh. You awoke in darkness, the chill of stone seeping into your bones. It was a basement, lined with shelves overflowing with books and jars containing grotesque, deformed creatures suspended in viscous liquid. You were bound, lying on the cold, damp floor. Your lips were stitched shut, the work of a surgeon's precise hand. "We shouldn't have touched your shit." From the shadows in the south of the room, a procession of shapes crawled toward you. By the flickering candlelight, you can make out their forms. Oversized leeches, monstrous and bloated. They reached you and lunged, their movements disturbingly swift, their cold, wet bodies pressed against your legs, piercing your clothing with sickening ease. They were like living, giant appendages, oozing a sticky fluid that clung to your skin. Unlike any leech you've ever encountered, their bites were excruciating. They latched on with terrifying pressure, tearing chunks of flesh away with each suck. They were numerous and voracious, feeding on your blood and flesh as quickly as it became available. As you were consumed, you heard Dr. Luca muttering to himself, his words chilling, something about changing medicine forever. Pain was unbearable. You succumbed to it, your world dissolving into agony. All right. So now we know the doctor is also just a loon. Take two. Back to our local doctor. We're going to go with this. This is a work of evil. And this time we're accepting when he says, I need to examine it more closely. So help him get his stuff. Oh yeah, this looks trusty. I should definitely trust this dormer. You nod in agreement, and the doctor leads you towards the basement. As you descend the creaking wooden steps, the air grows heavy with the smell of damp earth and something faintly metallic. The basement opens into a surprisingly large space. The walls are covered with anatomical charts. Detailed maps of the human body, some labeled in Latin, others in languages you don't recognize. Shelves are lined with gleaming metal tools. Thick tomes bound in leather and collapsed with metal stand in neat rows, their titles printed in elegant script. Corpora Stella, Donum de Callo, the same thing we did before, Manifestatio et Evocatio. The doctor explains that these are his reference books, some acquired from distant lands. Jars filled with various chemicals, their labels bearing complex scientific names, sit alongside containers of leeches. The doctor takes a candle from a nearby holder and leads you down a narrow, winding staircase that reeks of strong cleaning solutions. The air grows colder, the silence deeper. At the bottom of the stairs, he unlocks a heavy metal door, revealing a dark, windowless room. Inside, more shelves line the walls, packed with bottles and jars. In the center of the room sits a large metal chest. It looks incredibly heavy, its surface dull and tarnished. Grab the chest by the lid, grab the chest from the bottom. I'm guessing that from the bottom is going to be fine, but grab the chest from the lid is probably going to have it open and we're going to get consumed or something. So we're going to go with that one. You reach the chest first, intent on helping the doctor. You grasp the edge of the lid and you manage to pry it open with a crack. Pry open a crack. Before you could shift your grip and lift, something inside the chest shifted, slamming against the inner walls with the force of a physical blow. The chest had become a birthing nest for abominations, slippery slug-like creatures twitching with unsettling speed. Just as you were about to stumble backwards, the doctor appeared. He'd locked the door. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if grabbing it from the bottom would have actually changed this, because this guy's just crazy. We show up, right? I know, like, I might have picked the bad options intentionally, right? But we show up going, hey, these crops are kind of crazy. And he's like, oh, let me see if I can help. And then just murders us 2 times with leeches. He doesn't care about anything. Maybe, okay, we'll see. Because the witch also killed us like 2 or 3 different times, right? So let's give me some time. You desperately try to pull away to warn the doctor to run, but he held you fast, his grip surprisingly strong. A chilling realization dawned. He wasn't trying to save you. He was trying to restrain you. No, he was well, it doesn't matter, it's the same thing. The creature swarmed, leaping onto your legs and back, ignoring the doctor completely. Their cold, wet bodies pressed against you, piercing your clothes with ease. These were no ordinary leeches. Their bites were pure agony, each one tearing away chunks of your flesh with terrifying suction. They were quick, numerous, and ravenous, devouring your blood and flesh as it spilled. As you were being consumed in Dr. Luca's embrace, he whispered in your ear, his voice chillingly calm. I can't allow you to interfere. I'm about to change medicine forever. So fucked up. Take 3. Why, hello, Dr. Crazy. Okay, this time we still go to the work of evil, except, and now the other choice we have here is to lift it by its booty. Lift the booty by its booty. The moment your fingers closed around the box, ready to help lift, a sudden brutal force slammed into your head. Darkness swallowed you whole. One moment you were there, the next nothing. Ah, we just get right back here. All right. 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 Take 4. Hello, local evil doctor. I will not be picking this at all. This only gets us killed. There's nothing else I can do. They're using chemicals. I'm guessing that this is going to be the one that keeps us alive. We're going to see about this one. They're using chemicals. The doctor walks over to a wooden chest near the shelves of instruments and returns with a glass bottle filled with a viscous, murky liquid. This, he explains, holding up a bottle, must be applied to the soil just beyond the Underwood farm, near the edge of the woods. Spread it liberally over the grass and the ground. We must wait for several hours to see if the soil changes color. The procedure must be done at night. Can you perform this test for me? I'll go tonight. Can I get ready first? I'm going to say, can I get ready first? This is nice. I love this artwork. It's so cool. Like, I know it's supposed to be, like, creepy, but it's kind of cozy to me. With this, like, you know, purple and pink, or, I don't know, it's just magenta, whatever. Oops. Discretion is paramount, the doctor said, his voice dropping to a near whisper. The Underwoods. They're powerful men. They've risen quickly, and men like that, they protect their interests fiercely. They wouldn't hesitate to eliminate any threat in their operation. People have vanished before. You understand. I don't know why he's acting like he didn't just brutally murder me 2 different times. Oh, the Underwoods are dangerous people. You fed me to leeches 3 times. The doctor's words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken implications. A shiver traced its path down your spine. You nodded silently, a knot of unease tightening in your stomach. You leave quickly, moving as silently as a wraith, but the doctor's final warning echoed in your mind. People have vanished. Your steps falter. What if someone had overheard your conversation? What if the Underwoods already knew? Was it safe to walk home? Oh, okay. Go home through different streets. Go home and hide in your workshop. Stick with the trend of picking the rightmost ones. We're going to go home and hide in your workshop. A prickle of unease crawled beneath your skin. Something terrible was coming. You'd overstepped, dared to challenge men of power. Terrible power, sorry. You bolted for your workshop. All day you hid there, feigning absence from the town. But night brought no peace. Sleep wouldn't come. Instead, you wrestled with your conscience. Was this fear or a necessary warning? Finally, exhaustion won. You crept into the house, seeking rest, any rest. A knock echoes through your home. Refusing to answer, you brace yourself against the door, reinforcing. Your focus was entirely on the door, that you failed to notice the shadow slipping through the window. With brutal precision, the assassin expertly struck you, opening a wound, your blood beginning to spray. The world, already dim, grew colder as life drained from you. You crumpled to the floor. Whoever had done this possessed an intimate knowledge of the human body. Shouldn't have gone home that way. They're using chemicals. We have to go back to, can I get ready first? So we can get this other option. Go home through different streets. You need to avoid attention. You'd crossed the line, challenged men whose power was absolute, touched something forbidden. You slipped into your house. All day you remained hidden. Night brought no relief. Sleep eluded you. Instead, your mind raced, replaying your actions, weighing the risk. Was this fear or a desperate call to action? Could you find the courage to do what was right, even if it meant facing them? Oh. A knock. Okay. So there was literally no difference between these two. Okay. I'll go tonight. Keep this as a secret, the doctor warns. His voice low and serious. The Underwoods, they've risen to power quickly. Men like that can be ruthless. They wouldn't hesitate to silence anyone who threatens their livelihood. You leave, moving like a phantom through the twilight streets. Under the silvery gaze of the moon, the Underwood farm loomed in the distance. You spread it the mixture across the grass, over the plants, saturating the soil. What the hell is that? You remain motionless, your senses focused on the liquid's faint ammonia scent. Unnerving stillness descended as if the world itself had fallen silent. Even the crickets were gone, vanished into the deep woods. Then a whisper of air stirred behind you, followed by a snap of small branches. You whirl around, leaping back as a massive dark silhouette lunges towards you. The silhouette, too, seemed surprised by your sudden movement. Instinct took over. You have one last chance. Fight or flight. Let's go for flight. Terror lent you speed. You forced your legs to pump, abandoning everything in a desperate flight. Behind you, the sound of your pounding feet mingled with the ragged breath of something vast and powerful. Air exploded from colossal nostrils, a hot, fetid wind at your heels. It was close, but it was faster. Bear! So this means when we pick strength, I'm just gonna die the same way. We'll see. The bite wasn't a clean slice, but a crushing weight, like a mountain slowly pressing down on your clavicle. The chemical you'd spilled must have attracted it. The massive head shifted, and a scream of pure terror ripped from your throat as your vision began to darken. A huge chunk of you was ripped away, the bear's powerful jaws making it seem effortless. You slip into endless darkness, the world fading into a red haze. This time we'll use our strength. Surely it's going to be much different now that it is us versus a bear. A scream tore from your throat as you lashed out, your first connecting with a massive shadow. It was like striking a boulder draped in a thick carpet, utterly ineffective. The creature responded in kind, a massive paw-like hand lashing out and slamming into your chest. The force of the blow was devastating. You were sent flying, tumbling like a discarded peel. Agony ripped through you. Your ribs were crushed, and you could barely move. You could barely move. I know. Okay, Doc. We are no longer doing they are using chemicals. We've been killed by you twice, and we've been killed by a bear twice. No, thank you. The Underwood soil is poisoned. Let this be the good ending for. Okay. Precisely, the doctor exclaimed. You have a keen mind. My own suspicions were leaning in a similar direction. These recent renovations digging so deep, disturbing the earth. It's likely they unearthed something, some dormant chemical compound, perhaps. The tomatoes, with their extensive root system, would readily absorb it. Ingenious in a perverse way. A palatable poison delivered slowly, insidiously. And a week later, a sack of gold coins lands on your doorstep. A note, unsigned, thanked you for your service in keeping the town healthy and safe. A deep unease settled over you as you ventured outside. The town felt different, muted. Everyone moved with a strange weariness, their eyes dull. The streets, once vibrant, were now a drab gray. The laughter of children was absence, replaced by an unsettling quiet. From this void, a single haunting question echoed. Did I really save this place? I don't understand. What? They put something in the soil, and then it just skips to us a week later? Whatever. So there's no real good ending for that route. Which is fine. We'll go to it's cursed. I'll take it to the church. We're handsome. Look at us. We're so handsome. The priest's welcome is warm as you unfold the tale of the strange fruit, but his brow furrows with skepticism. He sees a spoiled crop, perhaps, or a new or troubling pest. He does not see the hand of something unholy. Father, you continue, leaning closer, lowering your voice conspiratorially. Have you seen insects shun a fruit? Even the flies avoid it as if it were poison. And have you considered the timing? The harvest has been bountiful, yes, but has it not also coincided with a change in the town? A subtle shift in temperament? We're going to go with inside is shaped like a pentagram. The exposed flesh of the fruit, clearly visible, mirrored the grotesque contours of an icon. Shock rippled across his face. "This changes everything," he murmured, his voice barely audible. "I will speak with the family in the first hours of the night." A fragile sense of relief flickered within you, quickly extinguished by the persistent tendrils of dread. Something felt deeply wrong, and polite inquiries seemed woefully inadequate against the darkness you sensed lurking beneath the surface. We're not going to inquire our way out of this one, am I right, fellas? Join the priest, sneak by and watch the priest, sneak inside the property. Sneak inside the property. Surely nothing bad will happen here. Night deepened, and as the Underwood household bustled with an unsettling, cheerful welcome for the men of the church, you slipped through an open window, melting into the shadows within. The truth lay hidden beneath, and you intended to unearth it. Better to trust your own senses, your own instincts. The house staff were focused on the newly arrived guests. Their attention was a convenient cover for your clandestine investigation. Stick to the shadows, pretend you aren't invading. We're going to pretend we aren't invading. You moved purposely towards the back of the house, greeting the staff with a friendly nod and suggesting they join the visitors at the front. Their eagerness to comply is almost unsettling. They practically rushed towards the entrance, their relief palpable, as if a great weight had been lifted from their shoulders. It's more than just respect for the priest. It feels like they've been waiting for this moment, praying for it. Why? As you approach the double doors leading to the massive sheds, you find 4 guards stationed there, blocking access. Feigning confidence, you approach them, politely inviting them to join the priest and the other visitors in a moment of prayer. The guards practically leap at the opportunity to leave their posts, their relief even more pronounced than the other staff. They hurried towards the front, leaving the double doors unguarded. You step through the passage. The gate to the shed looms ahead. A single candle flickers nearby, casting long dancing shadows that distort the familiar shapes of the shed. Lanterns hang at intervals along the walls, unlit. You take the candle and ignite one of the lanterns, its light pushing back the encroaching darkness. The shadows seem to cling to the corners of the shed, as if hiding something. With a growing sense of unease, you grasp the heavy wooden gates and begin to pull them open, the hinges groaning in protest. "To the crops!" Oh, yeah. Against the dying light, a monstrous form coalesces, a blasphemous parody of nature, flesh draped in pallid, stretched skin, unnatural limbs writhe, grasping. Its central mass, a nightmarish fusion of 2 humanoids, melded in unholy union, their expressions a testament to the agony. "What's up?" The upper head shakes, emitting tortured screams. The lower, features contorted in a malevolent fury, spews guttural sounds, a language that scrapes against your sanity. Thick tendrils erupt, anchoring it to the earth and blighted crops, lashing like living whips, a sickening realization. This is the thing that tainted the harvest. You seize a fallen rake, its tines now pitifully inadequate, and charge. You swing, hey, at least we're brave, we got that dog in us. You swing it with all your might. The rake connects with a sickening thud, but the impact is absorbed. The points buckle against its taut hide, too close. Those gargantuan tentacles, each longer than your body, close around you with terrifying speed. I'm guessing they meant longer there. The crushing pressure builds. One moment, desperate courage. The next, you are lifted. Bones groaning, hurled against the stone wall, the air knocked from your lungs. Before you can rise, tendrils snare your legs, yanking you toward the opposite walls. The world explodes in blinding pain, stretched, pulled, torn. Your last sensation, the sickening rending of flesh and bone. Then mercifully, darkness descends. We got owned by the giant plant monster. Okay, this time we have to do stick to the shadows now that we've snuck in. Heart pounding, you slip out of the room. Darting down the hallway, you move quickly, silently from one office to another, deeper and deeper into the opulent yet strangely deserted house. If anyone glimpses you, they likely assume you're a new servant, hurrying about your duties, but your purpose is far different. A growing unease gnaws at you. The silence of the house is unnerving. broken only by the soft pad of your own footsteps. You finally reach the double doors that led to the massive sheds. 4 guards stand watch, their faces grim, their eyes watchful. Feigning a confidence you don't feel, you approach them. The priest has arrived, you say, your voice steady. He's offering a moment of prayer. You're welcome to join him. The guards practically jump at the chance to leave their posts. Their relief is palpable, almost desperate. They practically sprint towards the front of the house. You slip through the now unguarded double doors, a chill prickling your skin. The air here is different, heavier, charged with something unseen. So I guess this is the same thing. So then what was the point? What was that? All right, now we come back here. We need to see. So we're not going to do the sneak inside the property. That is finished. We're going to sneak by and watch the priest. Night fell, cloaking the world in shadows. Hidden amongst the trees, you watched as the priest and his small retinue approached the Underwood farmhouse. They knocked, the sound echoing unnaturally loud in the still night. The door swung open, revealing a maid. She greeted the priest. Her voice, surprisingly bright, was full of an almost unsettling joy as she ushered them inside. You hadn't seen such unbridled happiness in a long time, especially not in this place, under these circumstances. It sent the shiver down your spine, more chilling than any icy wind. Get closer or keep your distance. Yeah, we're going to get closer. As you inch closer to the nearest window, the murmur of voices drift towards you. More servants are arriving, their greetings effusive, their eagerness to hear the priest's words almost unsettling. The sound of a prayer rises and falls, a chorus of voices filled with an almost desperate fervor. They pray not just for the farm, but for something more, something unspoken. The intensity of their devotion, their almost desperate need for divine intervention sends shivers down your spine. Something is deeply wrong here. Keep listening. There is a heavy thud followed by the sound of a body collapsing against the ground. Mr. Underwood has arrived, bursting from the direction of the farm. His cries are heart-wrenching, a raw outpouring of pain and regret. He repeats certain phrases over and over, his voice rising and falling in waves of anguish. Is it guilt that drives him? A profound remorse for some terrible act committed against the crops, against the land? Go around the house. Assassin's Creed! Suddenly the door swings open, transitioning into a deafening roar, a guttural sound that resonates deep within your soul. The vibrations are so intense they make you clutch at your stomach. The air crackles with an unseen energy. Screams erupt from within the shed, mixed with the splintering of wood and the frantic cries of men. Chaos has been unleashed. The moment of decision is upon you. Do you risk everything to try and save the priest? Or do you follow the primal instinct of self-preservation and flee? We're going home. What? Really? We went home? Jesus. Weary from your efforts, you return home. Dawn breaks and news has spread that the priest and his acolytes have vanished. The church doors stand bolted, an ominous silence emanating from within. Word has it that the bishop himself will send inquisitors to delve into the dark mystery. A cold dread grips you, a chilling guilt haunts you, a venomous whisper in the quiet corners of your mind. The shadows lengthen, and a sense of impending doom settles over the town. Dark and bloody times are surely upon you all. It seems like only thing that can really help is the witch. Witch knows best. Okay, back here now. We're gonna get inside. Yeah, that's what I thought. You find the nearest window, your heart pounding against your ribs. Ignoring the searing pain as glass shards bite into your fist, you smash through, adrenaline numbing the wound. You scramble inside, landing in a lavishly decorated room. Ignoring its opulence, you burst into the corridor. Dodging panicked employees, they flee deeper into the house, seeking any escape from the terror that has erupted. You reach the doorway leading to the fields. The scene that unfolds before you is a nightmare made real. The men of the church, their faces contorted with fear and desperation, struggle against something unseen, their daggers flashing uselessly in the dim light. Bodies litter the ground, twisted and broken. Chunks of flesh, glistening and raw, are scattered amongst the crops, a grotesque harvest, and in the shadows, at the very center of the massive shed, something moves, something dark and monstrous, slowly crawling, inching closer to the flickering lantern light. Father, take the men and get out, you yell, your voice raw with urgency. But the priest, his face set in grim determination, doesn't move. It is my duty, he says, his voice barely a whisper, yet filled with unwavering resolve. I can't allow this child of hell to taint our food, to poison our very souls. He begins to murmur a prayer, his words a desperate plea against the encroaching darkness. The thing in the shadows continues its slow, deliberate advance, its form still obscured, but its presence radiating an aura of pure malevolence. Abomination! Let's look like this went well. But everything's gonna be okay. Against the dying light, a monstrous form coalesces, a blasphemous parody of nature. Flesh draped in pallid, stretched skin, unnatural limbs writhe, grasping. Its central mass, a nightmarish fusion of two humanoids melded within a holy union, their expressions a testament to agony. The upper head shakes, emitting tortured screams. The lower, features contorted in malevolent fury, spews guttural sounds, a language that scrapes against your sanity. Thick tendrils erupt, anchoring it to the earth and blighted crops, lashing like living whips, sickening realization. This is the thing that tainted the harvest. You seize a fallen rake. Oh, okay. Is it the same dialogue? Yeah, it even has the same... Yeah, it's just the same dialogue as when we went down there the first time. Okay, this time we have to get closer just to see if there's anything else. And it says keep listening. And I'm pretty sure after keep listening, it sends us to the back. So we're going to go back home. It just gives us the same thing. Okay, now the only other difference here is besides getting closer, we just keep our distance. I guess it's going to also give us the same thing because whether you're there or not, it seems like that the priest shows up and then they just get attacked anyway. So, keep your distance. Silence hung heavy for a time, broken only by the faint, distant murmur of a prayer. It drifted on the still air, a sound of unsettling tranquility. No discord, no tension, just the peaceful rhythm of shared devotion. Was it genuine? A comforting ritual in the face of the unknown, or a carefully crafted facade, masking some deeper, darker truth? The thought coiled in your gut, cold and unsettling. They moved deeper. See, because I think that these are just going to give us the same things, right? Approach the house is probably going to give us the thing where we go inside, and the priest puts 10 toes down on the ground and says, fuck that shit, I'm not leaving. I'm dying right here, right now. And go back home is probably just going to give us that same dumb face. Let's see. As you inch closer to the nearest window, the murmur of voices drift towards you. More servants are arriving, their greed is suffused. Yes. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Okay, see, this time I'm not even going to bother to go to do the sneak by and watch the priest. It seems like nothing really changes. Right? Because the sneak inside is us confronting the thing by ourselves and getting killed. Sneak by and watch the priest is us watching the house from a distance and then eventually getting killed because they have a boss battle they didn't know they were going to have to with, like, you know, low mana, no stats. So they get owned. We're going to go with join the priest, and I imagine it's just going to be the same thing. We're going to walk in there, and they're going to be like, we're from church, pray all together, and then we're going to get jumped. So, join the priest. I like this priest, by the way. He's hard. I also like our guy, too, right? Considering that they're willing to be, like, brave enough to go and fight something they don't know anything about. All my men died, but I ain't going nowhere. Fuck that shit. That very night, under the watchful gaze of the encroaching darkness, you encounter the men of the church as they made their way to the Underwood farm. Concerned, you offer to accompany them, presenting yourself as a witness, the first to raise the alarm about the farm's unsettling produce. The priest, though hesitant, ultimately acquiesced. His assistants thought of an extra body as a buffer against potential hostility. A warning hung in the air, a whisper of unseen dangers lurking within the farm's shadowed boundaries. To the farm. We're here to contact you about your crop's extended warranty. You knock on the farmhouse door. A maid answers, her smile wide. She praises God, her voice filled with profound relief at your arrival. But the relief, it feels too intense. A flicker of unease pricks your senses. Why such a strong reaction? You step inside, the entire household staff gathers to meet you. Their smiles mirror the maids, their bows deeply respectful. Bows, sorry, deeply respectful. They treat you as if you were dignitaries, royalty, figures of immense importance. Their eyes, though, hold a strange glint, a mixture of relief and something else. Fear, desperation. Is everything fine? Or stay silent and watch. Stay silent. Different color. You decide to blink 3 times. As soon as you do it, the light in the sky disappears and the rain stops immediately. The world around you is thrown into silence. You look around and look up again. The cloud seems a bit wider than before. Within moments, the thing that you and everyone feared is at ground level. You feel cold, desperate, and you know that it doesn't matter if you keep the lights on or off anymore. You turn them on and walk to the door to see if it's really locked. That's when smoke-like air enters the house through the thin space between the door and the walls. You look back, and it's also happening to the window. The cloud is here. What? You hold your breath and run through the door. As soon as you step outside, the silence is broken by the sound of people coughing, screaming, and running. Some even got to their cars and tried to Tried to drive beyond the reach of this thick fog. You can't hold your breath anymore. The breath entrenches you into something new. There's oxygen in the fog. You feel like an army of ants has invaded your body through your lungs, each imaginary ant chewing on your flesh from inside and digging deeper. You can't even scream. They took over your lungs first. The microscopic chaos in the air is only interested in doing the most damage possible. So you're even a bit thankful that you won't be conscious to hear people trying to scream while they twitch their bodies in the fog. The mist. Hours later, the only sounds in town come from animals. It's as if the fog wanted to kill every person it could touch. The authorities came quickly. They'll have a lot of work to create a story to explain why an entire town died. Ending 13? What? I'm confused. How do we go from we're going inside the house, the Underwood's house, with a priest, to Boom Shakalaka, we're actually in modern times and we're getting killed, and now it's giving us an ending title when it typically just says retry. Very strange. Okay, we're back here now, and I'm gonna pick is everything fine, because apparently picking stay silent and watch will just send us to modern times out of nowhere and do something completely different that had no connection or correlation to anything going on here. So, is everything fine? Oh, this time it's that face, except not in red. They exchange uneasy glances, their eyes darting away from yours, avoiding direct contact. They claim to be weary from a long day's labor. Their words are a rehearsed mantra. Mr. Underwood must answer your questions, but their insistence feels forced, a flimsy shield against the truth they are desperately trying to conceal. You can feel it in the air, thick and suffocating. They're hiding something. The priest, sensing the tension, suggests a communal prayer. Perhaps, he thinks, the presence of the Lord will bring peace to this troubled place. Prayer. The air crackles with unspoken fear. You join the priest in prayer, the words a shared plea against the encroaching darkness. The chorus of voices rises and falls, a fragile shield against the unknown. A figure bursts into the light, a short man dressed in dark, disheveled clothing. He collapses to his knees, a torrent of fragmented words spilling from his lips. He begs for forgiveness, for help, his voice choked with desperation. It's Edmund Underwood, the owner of the farm. The priest helps him to his feet, his face etched with concern. The air is thick with a sense of impending doom. You exchange uneasy glances with the others. Underwood's words tumble out in a rush, barely coherent. My wife, Nadia, she is unwell. He gasps. We needed help. Desperate. She was weakening, fading. I feared. I knew she wouldn't survive. I called Luca, the doctor. I I didn't know. I swear. I didn't want this evil in my house, and I'm terrified. Terrified that you'll destroy them all. Try to calm him down. Dr. Luca. Oh, brother. You help the priest support the trembling man. Things will be better now, you say softly, your voice a calming balm in the midst of the chaos. Have faith. Your quiet reassurance seems to steady him. He takes a deep, shuddering breath, and some of the color returns to his face. We came to pray for the farm, the priest says, his gaze searching for the fields. We sensed something was amiss. We know nothing of what has transpired here. Can you tell us what has happened? A flicker of fear crosses Mr. Underwood's face. He had braced himself for condemnation, for the church's judgment. He had imagined the flames, the accusation of consorting with darkness. The priest's simple question, devoid of accusation, takes him by surprise. A hesitant relief washes over him, quickly followed by the crushing weight of his secret. He glances around at the faces of the villagers, their eyes filled with worry and suspicions. He opens his mouth to speak, then hesitates, the words caught in his throat. The truth is a heavy burden, a dark secret that threatens to consume him. He looks back at the priest, his eyes pleading, searching for some sign of understanding, some glimmer of forgiveness. He knows he must confess, but the fear of what he has done, the horror of what he has unleashed, threatens to paralyze him. The silence stretches, heavy with unspoken dread. Underwood's pain.
The Enchiridion.
Nadia, my wife, is pregnant, but she wasn't well. Weaker and weaker she became as a babe grew within her. Luca, the doctor, tried his remedies, but nothing changed. As a last resort, he spoke of old books, of forgotten knowledge. I cared not for his studies, only for her health. One night, he came and demanded she stand in the rain. I shielded her as best I could while he chanted from his book, drawing strange symbols in the air. For an hour this went on. His words grew faster and louder. He touched her forehead, and the world exploded. A blinding flash, a force that threw us all aside. I scrambled to Nadia, but her body, their bodies, she and our unborn child were mixed with something else. I saw her scream, convulse, stretch, transform into something unholy, something that crawled from the deepest pits of hell. I wanted to kill Luca that night, but he threatened us. He said his death would kill her too, and if the town learned of her condition, he would find a way to destroy her and all of us. We swore a blood oath of silence. He told us what we must do to keep her hidden, to keep her safe. She would become the life of the crops. We concealed her while the shed was built, but as the days passed, she changed. Her humanity withered. She could no longer speak, only utter a guttural dialect we didn't understand. She became violent, a danger to everyone except me. I feel like I've unleashed hell upon this town, but I couldn't destroy her or our child. Now they are one. The farmer falls silent, head bowed, awaiting judgment, but the priest's face is grim, not with condemnation, but with a terrible understanding. He spoke the truth, the priest said, his voice ringing with newfound resolve. He sought to save his wife and child, and was deceived by the whispers of evil. We must act. We must go to her, and in the name of the Lord break this unholy curse. Our faith will shatter the works of hell. Halt them or agree with them. Let's halt. Wait, you shout, your voice cutting through the murmurs. I fear we are about to make a terrible mistake. The root of this evil isn't Nadia. Or is it in Nadia? It lies with our local doctor, Luca. You are right, actually. This guy fed us the leashes. Your words ignite a firestorm of anger and fear. The crowd surges, their focus shifting from the shed to the doctor. Find him, someone roars, and the cry is taken up by the mob. Luca must be found before dawn. The Underwood farm, now a force of righteous fury, spills onto the streets. Lanterns and torches blaze, casting flickering shadows that dance with the urgency of the moment. They march towards Luca's house, a tide of vengeance. The doctor of the doctor's house is splintered by a collective assault of boots and fists, but the house is empty. A cold dread grips you. He's gone. There! A shout amongst a shot. A shout. There! Shouts a shout. A shout erupts from the street. A figure silhouetted against the moonlight is fleeing towards the edge of town, a bag clutched in his hand. He's on foot, no horse, desperate to escape unseen. The chase begins. The crowd surges after him, a wave of shouting, cursing humanity. Some hurl rocks, others brandish makeshift weapons. Luca, abandoning the roads, plunges into the dark embrace of the forest, gambling on the fear that grips the townsfolk. But you, fueled by a terrible determination, ignore the fear of the woods. You follow, your eyes fixed on the glint of the priest's ornament, the only beacon in the encroaching darkness. That sounds like a good omen. Exhaustion weighs heavily on you, and the small group stumble into a moonlit glade. Luca stands there, a manic gleam in his eyes. You wouldn't understand, he grasps, clutching a worn book. I'm creating a better life. No more disease. Before you can react, he flips open the book and begins chanting in that alien tongue. The air vibrates, the ground trembles beneath your weary knees. Luca's voice rises, a feverish crescendo as he falls into a disturbing trance. He raises the heavy book above his head, a predatory intensity contorting his features. Whack! A dark arrow, seemingly from nowhere, pierces both of Luca's arms. The book falls, his concentration shattered. He staggers, trying to flee, but another arrow finds its mark, this time in his leg. A figure emerges from the shadows of the woods, cloaked in mystery and dread. A dark, ancient robe billows around the figure, obscuring head and face. A bow of dark wood is held steady. The witch! The whispers ripple through the group, fear making them crawl away. The figure, arrow still knocked, remains focused on Luca. Let it be known, men of the church, the figure's voice echoes, strangely amplified, that my beliefs may differ from yours, and you may despise me, but I will not tolerate this evil within my woods. The man's actions are not magic, they are an abomination. Confusion ripples through the churchmen. They had always believed the witch to be a force of darkness, yet she stands against this man, this purveyor of true evil. He cursed a pregnant woman, the priest says, his voice steady despite the turmoil within him. He destroyed a family, threatened the lives of all. Do you know why? He traffics in things that should not be, the figure replies. His deeds are foul in the eyes of any power, any relief, and men like him, they will not break their curses, not even under torture. Luca, writhing on the ground, lets out a chilling laugh. The figure raises the bow, the string taut. Wow! He got hit by a bazooka. The arrow flies, piercing Luca's chest. His laughter turns into a strangled gasp of horror. His curses are broken only by his death, the figure explains, but he will try to convince you otherwise, to make you believe that greater horrors will follow if you harm him. With that, the figure turns and melts back into the shadows of the forest, leaving the churchmen and the villagers in stunned silence. The forbidden books remain untouched, left for the church to study and understand. As Luca breathes his last, a change ripples through the air. Nadia's transformed bodies revert into its human form. Cradling a newborn infant in her arms, the Underwood family is free. The land is cleansed, and the witch of the woods, she becomes a figure of whispered respect, a guardian of balance, her motives forever shrouded in mystery. There we go. We got our second good ending. Well, I don't know. I would consider the other one as well, where they like defend against all the townspeople turning, as a good ending, because I don't care for big groups of people. Who cares? Especially when they were like condemning the witch. She didn't really do anything. I can't stand people that do that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like fear mongers, super hardcore. And then they're like, oh, this is all they know. I don't care. Okay, this time when it says we must go to her in the name of the Lord, break this unholy curse, our faith will shatter the works of hell. I did halt them last time, and then we turned into a mob. We're going to agree with them. Did I just hear a voice say, oh, okay? Was that us? Oh, okay. You lead the procession to the shed's heavy wooden gates. the staff trailing behind, their lanterns casting long, dancing shadows. Confidence fills you. Tonight, you believe a miracle will unfold. Heads held high, you push open the gates and step into the darkness. The air within the shed is thick with an unnatural stillness, a silence that presses against your ears. The scent of damp earth and something else, something faintly metallic, hangs heavy in the air.
You know you bad. You know you bad.
The lantern light flickers nervously, revealing rows of crops that seem to pulse with a strange, unnatural vitality. An unsettling feeling creeps over you, a prickling unease that whispers of something hidden, something wrong. From the deepest shadows, a shape begins to coalesce. It emerges slowly, a hellish form materializing against the dim light. An amalgamation of flesh, stretched and contorted, draped in pallid skin, limbs unnaturally elongated, reach and writhe, grasping for unseen prey. The central mass is a grotesque fusion of two humanoid figures, a mama and a baby, melded together in a nightmarish union, their expressions a mask of profound agony. The upper head, crowned and with matted hair, begins to shake and convulse, emitting a chorus of tortured screams and guttural cries. The lower head, its features twisted into a mask of malevolent fury, spews forth a torrent of guttural sounds, a language that scrapes against your sanity. Thick, sinewy tendrils erupt from its lower body, anchoring it to the earth and the blighted crops. They lash out like living whips, pulsing with a dark vitality. Redfield. This went really well for me. Oh my god. You're commanded not to yield to fear. Armed with a rake to defend the priest, and as he chants in Latin, the monster's tentacles lash out, blurring whips of flesh, inching closer. You parry with the rake, the flimsy wood a pitiful defense against such raw power. This unholy ritual must be stopped, even if it costs you all. The creature advances, and so do you, a desperate dance of survival. We're the front liar for Freeman. Rakes, brooms, daggers flash, deflecting tentacles more by luck than skill. The air vibrates with the beast's monstrous roars, a cacophony that assaults your senses. The tentacle slices the air to your right with a sickening crack. Something wet and warm splatters your face. You instinctively wipe it away. A chunk of lung, still faintly steaming, clings to your hand. It's from a worker, nearly bisected by a tentacle. Shock paralyzes you. The world shrinks into a wet crimson stain on your palm. Silence descends, broken only by the creature's roars. Your numbers dwindle. Flight is no longer an option. Too many have fallen. Survive, you whisper to yourself, a monster against the encroaching terror. I only have to survive until the priest breaks his curse. But even as the words leave your lips, something rolls into view behind you. The priest's severed head, eyes wide and vacant, stares up at you. Hope evaporates, leaving only the cold weight of despair. You collapse to your knees, exhaustion and terror washing over you. A tentacle descends, a swift, merciless strike. It cleaves through your chest, the world exploding in agony. Your last moments are filled with the searing pain and the horrifying vision of the blood-soaked floor. Yeah. We got owned. Okay, so this time, we're not going to bother with inside is shaped like a pentagram. We got all of those, and now we just need to see even the animals avoid this fruit. Those scavengers of rot shunned the seemingly perfect fruit. A creeping dread tightened his grip. This was no mere blight, but a mockery of nature, a subtle poison designed to deceive. A shiver ran down his spine. The thought was blasphemous, yet clung to him like a shroud. He would inform the Count. Tonight, he would walk the shadowed path to the Underwood farm. He would offer prayers and seek the source of this perversion of the harvest. What will you do now? The question hung in the air, heavy with unspoken dread. Find something to eat or go back home. Oh, we're just gonna go back home. Oh, we can go run and we go back home. Weary from your efforts, you return home. The fate of the crops now rests with the others. Though a gnawing unease lingers in your heart, dawn breaks, and with it, a disquieting tremor runs through the town. The streets echo with hushed whisperers and anxious faces. The news spread like wildfire. The priest and his acolytes have vanished. The church doors stay bolted. Word has it that the bishop himself will send inquisitors to delve into the stark mystery. Could you have prevented this? Okay, now we just have find something to eat. I don't like this. I don't like the way this looks. Driven by a worry of tainted crops, you venture into the woods, seeking anything edible that hasn't been grown on the farm. You found some found some wild berries and herbs, a meager but necessary bounty. As you forge deeper into the woods, a tantalizing aroma drifts on the breeze. It's sweet, buttery, like someone baking a rich delicacy in the heart of the forest. You push through the thicket and emerge into a small glade. In the center stands a majestic tree, its branches reaching towards the sky like gnarled arms. Beneath it, nestled amongst the leaves, is the source of the scent, a massive beehive. We should go back home. Go back home just gives us this every time. Okay, this time we're getting the honey. And we're gonna get demolished. Yeah, what do we expect to happen? Like, why would I think anything else was gonna happen? You approach the giant hive looming before you like some grotesque monument. With a growing sense of unease, you begin to claw at the hive's rough surface with your bare hands. The material is surprisingly brittle, crumbling under your fingers. As you tear away, a chilling sight greets you. A sea of tiny eyes stares back at you. Countless bees, an army of miniature soldiers, packed tightly within the hive, their bodies motionless, their silence more menacing than any swarm, waiting, poised to defend their domain. The air within the hive seems to hum with a suppressed energy. Run deeper into the woods or run back to town. Run back into town is probably going to get us a stupid face again, so we're going to go run deeper into the woods. Anything's better than him just standing there, like just looking at the screen like, huh? What? You burst into the woods. The trees a desperate hope, a fragile barrier against the pursuing swarm, but they are relentless. The buzzing grows louder, closer. The first sting is a jolt of pure agony, a burning brand on your skin. You stumble onward, driven by the searing pain, knowing that stopping means certain death. The swarm is upon you. More stings, each one a fresh wave of torment. The buzzing intensifies, a deafening roar in your ears. The world spins. The bee's toxin courses through your veins, clouding your mind, slowing your limbs. Through the haze of pain and disorientation, your peripheral vision catches a glimpse of water, a small lake, your last desperate chance. Hope flickers within you, a fragile ember in the face of overwhelming terror. The lake looms closer, a dark shimmering promise, but the swarm is closing in. The last thing you see is the water rushing up to meet you, the dark surface shimmering in the fading light. The last thing you hear is a splash as your body plunges into the cold embrace of the lake, a final desperate attempt to escape the relentless sting of death. Rescue. Oh! Oh, wonderful! Oh, my homies, you've arrived. You awaken to a crushing weight, your body leaden. What? You awaken to a crushing weight, your body leaden. Oh, just heavy. I understand. Darkness envelops you, a thick, suffocating blanket. A sliver of light spills from an open doorway nearby, a beacon in the oppressive gloom. With a groan, you push yourself up, your muscles screaming in protest. You crawl, drag yourself towards the light, the rough ground scraping against your skin. Emerging from the darkness, you find yourself in the woods. A chilling figure sits motionless on a nearby rock, a silhouette against the dim light. It's the Witch of the Woods, an unsettling blend of shadow and cloth, her human form obscured, almost spectral. Contrary to your expectations, it was she who pulled you from the lake, who tended to your wounds. Mercy, it seems, resides beneath that chilling exterior. I dapped her up, as that's my homie. She rises to greet you, her movements fluent and silent. Her voice, when she speaks, is low and resonant. She explains that she used a poultice? I've never seen that word before. Poultice of rare herbs, a concoction that countered the swelling from the bee stings and allowed you to breathe while your body fought the overwhelming toxin. The side effect, she says, was a deep, unnatural sleep. You have been unconscious for days. As she leads you to the forest's edge, she recounts a tale of horror. One night she heard screams echoing from the town, cries of terror and agony that abruptly ceased. From that night forward, the town and the fields, they were changed. Something monstrous had taken root within the hearts of the people, twisting them into feral beasts driven by an insatiable hunger. At the edge of the woods, they stand in rows, a silent, menacing horde. They are held back by some unseen force, some magic that the witch wields. You and she, it seems, are the last survivors in this desolate, cursed land. Despair washes over you. You rub your eyes as if the gesture could wipe away the nightmare, but the horror remains, stark and unyielding. Come, the witch says, her gaze piercing. Your body must be cleansed of the taint that corrupted the town. The situation is dire, but we will find a way. You escaped the curse that transformed the townspeople into monsters, but now a new duty falls upon you, to learn from the enigmatic witch, to unravel the mystery of the curse, and find a way to restore your ravaged world. Okay, now the running deeper into the woods just gets us over to the witch, so we're going to run back to town. We did not get to run back to town, I see. You run back in the direction of the town, but the bees are a pun, a buzzing cloud of fury. The first sting is a jolt of pure agony, a white-hot needle piercing your flesh. Adrenaline surges, making you run faster, but the swarm is relentless. Dizziness washes over you, your vision blurs. The world spins, your heart pounds in your chest. Eventually, the ground rushes up to meet you. You fall into the soft grass, a cruel mockery of comfort. The swarm engulfs you, a living blanket of stinging, buzzing horror. The world fades to black, the last sensation, 1,000 burning needles piercing your skin. Right. So that was it for Seed. So overall, I like the artwork of the game. I like the premise that, you know, you don't know what's going on in the town. Shit's going down. I like the witch. She seems like, you know, pretty chaotic neutral. From the first video, you know, you could see that she's a good person. She just gets mistreated by the world, so she lashes out, is very cautious, is willing to get like ferocious and stinky like immediately, you know. We only really get like 2 good endings throughout this whole thing. I mean, I guess because I personally don't really mind the ending where everybody but you and the witch transforms. All right, because I don't really care. If I don't know you, I don't care about you. For real. But really, the good endings are killing Luca. That's my cat's name, so that kind of sounds really bad to say. But killing Luca and turning the child and the mother back into normal humans, you know, getting rid of the whole thing with the crops. I mean, you knew this guy was going to be bad news when you show up. And you try to say, like, hey, like, something's going on here. And he's like, oh, that's crazy. Why don't I feed you to leeches and stitch your mouth up? What if I did that? What if I did that? Would you be bothered? Would you be bothered if I did that? So, yeah, I don't know. And then the other ending with the witch where she just, like, says, like, hey, do this. And when we go up to the Underwood farm and then she just pours the solution or whatever she made. And that ends up being, like, a thing. That was good, too. But yeah, so I thought the story was pretty fine. You know, I guess for whatever time they're in, I understand the religious fanaticism and stuff. I'm personally never going to be a fan of that, but I get it. But I will say, so like, it's like I didn't not enjoy playing the game necessarily, but it's the fact that like you have to just keep going back to the beginning over and over again. This game could have used some, like, maybe like a route map that you could see for like endings or whatever, or at least something to kind of show you that you're getting endings. You know, when you go to like a typical like visual novel style game, they'll have like a gallery for all of the endings that they have, or you're able to like just kind of go back a little bit or like look at your save points at the very least. You know, save points would have saved this as well. Would have saved me a lot of time from just like going back to this, having to wait, click through every single thing I can, like remember where I have to go. Granted, it's not that much to get through, but it does become tedious after like a little while. Like that sort of like repetition was a little bit like meh, you know. So hopefully if they make another game that's like this, they add save points, make it so you can maybe just go back if you want to instead of having to hit retry and come back to the same menu. Because the amount of times that I'm sure I'm going to have to like edit past this title screen is going to be more than like 10 times. Like take a shot every single time you see this screen come up. You'll die. You'll die if you do that. But anyway, if you ended up watching this, thanks so much. Again, I thought this game was fine, but you know, yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.